This player 1 is ready, and he has a player 2. What up,
what kids? Oh, we gotta try it in unison.
Okay, okay, we'll try it. So after I say ready, player 1, this player 1 is ready, and he has his player 2, and then we'll go, what up, big kids? Okay. Sure. This player 1 is ready, and he has a player 2. What up, big kids? It's Sean Long here, and I got my buddy Josh here.
Heyo.
We saw Ready Player 1, which is adapted from the Ernest Cline novel, adapted by the wonderful, the great Steven Spielberg. And if anyone was to adapt a novel as great as this, it is Steven Spielberg. But Josh has actually read the book, or he's reading the book.
The first 7 chapters. I mean, for those that have completed the book, more power to you, but the geek elitism is kind of making it a slower read for me.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, Steven Spielberg is known for adapting great novels, whether it's Jurassic Park, Minority Report, World of the Worlds, and he knows a way of adapting a really condensed book into something that like you can enjoy like in 2 hours and 15 minutes. And that's what he does great with this. And of course, if you know Ready Player 1, it's full of pop culture references, everything from beloved movies, video games, anime, cartoons, tons of 80s, 90s, and other references. And it came out in early, like around 2012. So this movie even has characters that weren't in the book, and you know this, like, if you know Iron Giant is in this movie, and
a recent addition,
yeah,
but a most welcome addition.
Very welcome. And we have Tracer from Overwatch, big Overwatch fan here, so seeing her, and she's actually in this movie quite a bit, a lot of Blizzard characters, so that's something I was really welcoming to see. But overall, what'd you think, Josh, of this movie compared to what you've read in the book?
Well, the problem with a book is that you have to explain a lot in textual detail, that it bogs down everything. With this being a visual medium, you can notice the references, and for those who know it, will delight them. Therefore, they're finding the Easter egg, as it were.
Yeah, what's great about Ready Player 1 and the premise, which Wade Watch's character, played by Ty Sheridan, who's Cyclops in X-Men Apocalypse, it's a very much like a Charlie and Chocolate Factory quest type of movie of finding these keys within the Oasis, which is like a virtual reality Matrix, but way better because it's not controlled by machines, it's actually controlled by humans.
Aside from green and black, there's actually so much color in it.
I know, seriously, which is really wonderful. And yeah, so this movie is literally about finding Easter eggs, both in literal terms and in the visual medium that is Ready Player 1. And like Josh said, compared to a book where they have to literally describe every little reference, movies have a great way of just showing, not telling. And even though there is some narration in the beginning and end of this movie, which a lot of the movies do have, they have to have their explanation and all that stuff. They have to give their exposition, but it's really great that you can just enjoy it as a visual medium with seeing like, oh, there's Ryu and there's Tracer and there's Robocop and all these things. And literally, if you love anything pop culture in any sort of medium, you will enjoy this movie.
Especially if you're 80s nostalgic, because this is the movie made for people of that gen.
Yes, literally, Steven Spielberg perfected the 80s movie, and having him come full circle I watched a lot of things about him talk about creating Easter eggs in his original films, whether it's in E.T., like having Yoda in E.T., or you know, C-3PO and R2-D2 in the Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's really cool that he's literally come full circle in making the ultimate Easter egg movie. And let's talk about the cast. So Ty Sheridan, who's played Cyclops in X-Men Apocalypse, what did you think of him?
A very talented actor who could have made a great Cyclops, but just like James Marsden, the director didn't take it. But in this movie, excelled it.
Yes.
He is the sung hero of geekdom that we all wish to have his moments of happiness for, and it is really good.
Yeah, he is a very delightful character. He's very relatable. There is a
he
thing...
will even like make actions that you'd be like, nah, man, don't do that, but you'll admire him for doing it.
Yeah, exactly. He's very well developed. He has you get a little bit of his backstory. The thing about this movie, which going into Wade's character, is that everyone wants to escape their their real life world and be in the Oasis because you could be anything and do anything for the most part. They even reference about things that people would literally do in the Oasis. It's a great little nod. I don't want to say it because it's not very appropriate, but when you say it, you'll laugh. And I was like, I'm glad they acknowledged that. But yeah.
This is a family picture like in the 80s where you could say certain words you can't say in a PG movie now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But with Wade, yeah, he definitely has a very hard life outside of the Oasis, and it's really nice. You can see where he's coming from, why he wants to get on this quest, why he wants to, he's definitely a better person to be in control of the Oasis since Holloway died versus, Ben Mendelsohn's character, which, Sorrento. Which Ben Mendelsohn, let's talk about him before we get back into the high five characters. Yeah. He is just so great. I loved him since The Dark Knight Rises and, of course, Rogue One. And he's just so great at playing a bad guy. He's just so... He
is perfect as the corporate douchebag.
He's so great at playing douchebags. It's really reminded me of Daggett in The Dark Knight Rises, but you get a lot more of him because in that movie, he wasn't in it a lot. But he's just like... That's so great, like, what the hell, or get it done, and, and then his avatar, it's funny, I was talking about Trent with this, does it remind you of, like, a Bruce Wayne Clark Kent?
Yeah, he does have the Clark Kent Bruce Wayne physique.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny.
Maxed out on steroids and a business suit.
I know, I thought that was so great, but, yeah, he is such a great villain in this. Definitely, like, a character that you just love to hate. Now, Olivia Cook, oh... Yes, she, it's funny, I watched a video about this, about how Artemis / Samantha, that's her character in the movie, she's very much fantasized, very, like the ultimate, like, fantasy girl in the movie, and they really changed her in this movie to make her more, like a more three-dimensional character, literally, and, that she's given more to do and more in like the whole rebellion thing. So I really liked her character in this movie compared to what I heard how she is in the book. So and Samantha, Olivia Cook does a really great job as her. She is so strong and she's so like doesn't take any crap, and I love her little lines to Wade, and she has her scar, which or her birthmark, which. Is a big deal in the book, and even though they play off like...
Which I do like, adds a little more organicness to her character.
Oh, yeah.
She's not entirely the perfect pretty girl with spunk.
But she's still beautiful to me. I don't care about that birthmark.
We're lovely with her imperfections. Let's not try to criticize them too much.
Definitely. And Lena Waithe, who I love her from Master and None, she plays Art... H, yeah, sorry. It's funny how they, I was like...
H is a great character. Like, it's the mechanic you wish would come with you on your adventures.
H is awesome, both in the Oasis and in real life. And, yeah, I just love seeing the mechanic do her thing, so it was really great. And I love that reference about like, hey, when you choose the character, like whether it's in a video game like Mass Effect or in the Oasis, you could be like 30-year-old woman being a guy or vice versa. So I really like that, and they have such a great friendship in the movie. And then
it is definitely the bromance you did not expect.
Oh yes, and then T.J. Miller as IROC. I just want to say, whatever is going on in T.J. Miller in real life, I still love him as an actor. He is so funny in this movie. He has some great lines. And even though we don't see him physically in the movie, his presence in the movie is really welcome, and I'm glad he was in the movie.
Me too. Yeah, he's like that guy you would get harassed on message boards, but the way how he says it, it is actually funny.
Oh, yes. Yes, and I'll just say a few of the remaining supporting characters, and then we'll go on to overall stuff. But I loved Simon Pegg is in the movie.
Yes.
He's not in the movie a lot, but he's so wonderful.
When he's there, you will love it.
And then Mark Rylance as Holiday. He is so great at playing. Him and Simon Pegg, they play a very Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak role, which I really like. So it's really about a friendship, about two brilliant engineer characters that also are dealing with, fame and, success and all that stuff. So I really like that a lot. And then...
Only a social, awkward introvert who creates a great game like this can be the most powerful wizard in the world.
Oh, yes. And then we have Sho and was it Deitu?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the two other members of High Five, and they are so great. It's really always welcome to see
Daito,
yes, see Asian actors in a movie, especially because when a world literally it's about video games and about characters that are all over the world. It's great to see that because in the real world, like especially with Overwatch, and going back to that, a lot of characters. A lot of people who are great at Overwatch are from Korea and Japan and China, so it's really nice to see that welcome addition in a movie, especially for me being part Asian too. So I really love that. But let's talk about the action. Oh man, that race scene.
Oh yes, that scene where the Tyrannosaurus, as you see in the trailer, chasing down the DeLorean. Isn't that something you wanted at Universal Studios your whole life?
I would love to see, especially Universal. You had the Back to the Future.
They could recycle the Back to the Future ride and make that the Ready Player One ride.
They Universal, please. I know this is technically a Warner Bros. Movie, but take the Back to the Future ride and put it.
Hey, you guys endorse the Simpsons ride. I don't see why not.
Yeah, seriously. So make it happen. And then that final battle with seeing all the different characters, seeing Tracer and Iron Giant, and there's the Gundam. That's in the movie, but what the Gundam faces.
There's a boss battle. We won't say what it is. Should I give him a hint?
I'll just you can say like the one thing I was saying.
It's a kaiju related thing.
It's you're gonna love it. Oh my god. So the Steven Spielberg knows how to do action. It's breathtaking. Like it's so thrilling in those scenes, especially with the race scene and then the like the final battle. But there's also a great scene reminiscent to a classic horror movie that was also adapted from a book. And I won't spoil, but it got kind of horror movie there for a little bit.
So horror movie that even the characters were freaking out, and it is just glorious.
It is glorious. But the special effects were wonderful. I thought they did a great job, especially because the Oasis is meant to look like a digital world. So I thought it was great. They weren't trying to make it photorealistic. I like how they did that.
I especially love that because with most video game animation where they try to make things as photorealistic as possible, it becomes uncanny valley effect.
Yeah.
But because this world is self-aware that it is a digital fantasy land, that the animation just comes off as natural because they're aware of it.
Yeah, so I really like that. And even there's times that characters you can see like their little bits and like the little digital bits and pixels. And I thought that was really cool. I really enjoyed that. So this is definitely a movie for geeks.
Yes.
This is based on a best-selling book that caters to pop culture fandom. So this movie is definitely catered to pop culture fandom, but the story is still wonderful. Overall, it's a classic Steven Spielberg feel in a modern CGI heavy blockbuster. So
I haven't had this much fun with a Steven Spielberg movie since Hook and Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And those were way back in the 90s.
Yeah, it's because King of the Crystal Skull, so...
It was alright, but it just couldn't recapture the magic that was the original trilogy.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg has, like back what we were saying, he hasn't, sorry about you, he hasn't made like a blockbuster like this in a while. He usually makes very Oscar movies now. So it's really nice, or like Tintin and stuff like that. So it's really nice to him back in form doing a great blockbuster.
This has better animation than Tintin.
Yeah, definitely. So with that said, Josh, what would you give Ready Player One out of 5?
Well, as the analytical film buff, I would give it a 4 because I felt some things on the story missed opportunities. But as a geek, as you can see, that I'm fully decked out in, absolutely love it, man. So 5. Yeah, I agree. Definitely want to see this multiple times.
I agree. As a film, it's a 4, but definitely as a geek, it's definitely a 5. It's definitely... There's something from your childhood, something from what you love now is probably in this movie. So with that, like, it felt like a sequel to Iron Giant, to all these things that you love. So I definitely recommend this movie. Just for watching on the big screen to catch all the references or whatever. It's still a great story. It's still wonderful. And if
you can't have fun with this movie, you're too cynical.
Seriously. So well, thank you, Josh, for joining me on this
awesome
review. So definitely stay Ready Player One, especially with a player 2, because games aren't always meant to be single player. So yeah.
Nope.
Well, with that said, check out my website, SeanLongSong.com. Like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, links in the description. I'm Sean Long and Josh saying, live long and love life. Hey, big kids, I want you guys to say hello to my daughter, Veronica. Isn't she beautiful? Aw, she has her father's eyes.